Finally!
So I've always had a dream to create my own fishing show, documentary, you know, forging my own style now of what it's going to look like. Pretty much born out of a mishmash of everything. I was growing up as a kid, John Wilson, you know, David Attenborough, being, you know, massively intrigued about the giant fish that exist out there in the oceans and rivers around the world. Always been a passionate fisherman. I've probably been procrastinating around getting this idea out there for a while, just being busy with work, running my own business. And then made a decision to move my family to Portugal, which gave me access to all of these different locations. The Canary Islands, the Azores, Cape Verde, Madeira, etc. So when I moved to Portugal, I pretty much had a season of exploring all of these different islands, like La Gomera, where I was fishing for bluefin, coming to the Azores, catching giant marlin. And I just thought, I wonder if I could launch this show with a challenge, something I'd get my teeth into that would get me so motivated about achieving the impossible. And the idea was, well, if I caught marlin up to 750 and bluefin up to sort of 800–900 pounds, could I catch each one of those species 1,000 pound plus? So the Against All Odds challenge was born. The search for the double blue grander, the blue fin tuna, the blue marlin, and it just made sense to start off in La Gomera. The real large bluefin tuna tend to start coming into La Gomera and the Canary Islands from March. And I wanted to kick it off in March 24. So we started off with 2 trips booked in, one in March and one at the end of April, to go and target those buffalo big bluefin tuna. Never been there before. Stupidly had this sort of thought that maybe it would be quite touristy, but nothing could be further from the truth. And once you first go to La Gomera, God, you feel like you're going back into the 1970s and the 1980s. So immediately I really enjoyed not just the fishing, but the evenings there, and the vibe is a special place. Oh, Jacob is one of life's characters. He's a good friend of mine now. He's my sales director, key person in my business. We get on very well. I started to bring him fishing when he first joined my company back in 2018. Took him down to Cornwall, saw his face hooked into like 50-pound blue sharks and 100-pound poor beagles. He was looking like his head was going to explode. So I thought, I'm going to bring him on this trip and see how he could handle one of these big buffalo tunas.
So 700 pound plus is a bronze medal.
Okay.
800 pound plus is a silver.
Okay.
900 plus is a gold medal. And 1,000 plus is the Olympic championship. If you catch 1,000 pound and I don't, I'll be f***ing pissed off.
I mean, Against All Odds is living up to its name. I mean, it really hit home that I had a red letter year the year before, with the numbers I was catching and the size I was catching. And quelle surprise, I decided to go and bring, you know, a cameraman with me to film a documentary, and everything that could have gone wrong did.
I think our main challenge this week is that we're early. We're early into the season, and I like odds. I like to control I like odds being in my favour. Feels slightly early. Feels like we might be a week early, too early.
So, trip 1 was a blank. I mean, you couldn't write it. Every season before, they were catching from early March. This season, they didn't arrive till early April, so we blanked. They just weren't there. And then we arrived for trip 2.
So, when it rains, it pours. We've just been slapped with a potential absolute red card, which sends us off for our first day on leg 2.
Got a text on Wednesday saying that the boat we're going out with has had a gearbox failure. We were told we were on another boat. And now I've just had a WhatsApp where it just says the Spanish government have come out with new legislation saying certain boats are now banned from fishing for giant bluefin tuna. And the 2 boats we're supposed to go on as an substitute for the boat we should be going on are banned. So now left with the hope of they're going to get our boat sorted, but they might not.
Have to hope. Lady Luck was on our side. I still believe she's on our side. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, done.
Well, when has that ever happened before? Never. And they just decided to do it on that day after the boat had engine failure, and there was, I mean, you were just like, oh my God.
This was the biggest shit sandwich I've ever delivered before a charter. Bang, 5 things totally out of control that have gone wrong. However, we are trying to salvage it. So at the moment, we've actually been having a good time, having a couple of beers, just trying to let it wash off our back a bit.
So, you know, I'm a pretty resourceful guy. You start to think, right, what is the Hail Mary here? So I went on social media and I put a post, and then we were pretty much consoling ourselves in a couple of cold beers in the square in Gomera, and then all of a sudden I had a look at my phone. And then in my Facebook Messenger was a chap called James Stand-Up.
We were in a hole earlier today. Our whole trip was going to be blown out. And I posted something online. I've been following this chap for a while, James Stand-Up, who's hauling some serious big fish out in the Canaries for well over 35 years. Posted some serious trauma, bit dramatic, I know. And then we met him for a beer and he sorted it all out. And we've met this chap here whose charter boat is El Monte. And we're now back in the game, going tuna fishing for 2 days solid. Wish us luck. We're going to be posting loads of updates. Thank you, gents. I really appreciate it. You really sorted this out. No worries.
You want to stop crying, huh?
And then it was game on.
I am so glad we are fishing today. I thought it was going to be off, the whole thing.
The odds have turned remarkably in our favour.
And within like an hour of just hustling social media. And then James Stand-Up just turned up and goes, right, boys, I think I've got it sorted for you. And I was just like, I love you.
Bluefin tuna fishing is very exciting. You're on a proper hunt. You know, you've got the binoculars out, you're constantly searching, you're scanning, you're looking for bird activity, you're looking for splashes. Predominantly birds. Birds are your guides. It's a visual type of fishing. La Gomera is quite a simple way of fishing. It's live baiting. It's one rod. Chuck a few deads or a couple of injured fish in and around to try and get them to take the bite. So that's how we fish in La Gomera.
This morning it was massively on. We were just up near Los Cristianos and there was lots of tuna around, quite deep. The tuna fishing can just switch on at any time. All of a sudden a bunch of fish come up chasing a bait ball and then it's game on and, you know, the double hook-up's in and it makes the day. To be honest, man, I'm just glad we're out and we know they're here, so surely it's only a matter of time. Big game fishing is never easy. We had one shot and didn't quite work out, unfortunately. There was, yeah, some sort of snag or sort of knot that was in the line. So when we got the take, unfortunately, it snagged up and then the line broke, and that was the shot of the day. A couple of boats hooked up, so people are catching. And then all of a sudden there was like, I don't know, what, 30 boats? All swarmed in and
then the fish that were there just dropped deep, and then we just spent the rest of the day searching for them, didn't find any, so...
The only odd that's played in our favour is that we met these blokes. Yeah. Thank God for that. Other than that, everything else has been shocking.
I was trying to put some spin on it for the camera, but point being is we've got another shot, right? And we know they're here. And all it takes is one big fish, and it reverses the odds in our favour, right? We're here for an 1,000-pounder, right? We could catch that tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've got to stay positive, live lucky. The extra cost and expense of bringing a cameraman, you know, everything that entails. Trip 1 was a blank. Trip 2 had a litany of things that went wrong. So you're going into the second day of that one thinking, it's just not meant to be. But it was just never had anything like that. It just seemed really unreasonable to have that sort of, I don't know, litany of bad luck. But yeah, it did have a good end to the trip. Well, the waters in the Canaries, I mean, it's a great fishery for big game fishing. And, you know, I started to follow a few people that fish there, and it was just obvious to me it's where the buffaloes go. So the pods of big uns, you know. It's not shoal tuna fishing like it is in the UK. They're pods, they're big uns, they're buffaloes. It did have a lovely red letter ending, and I think that's actually what sparked the momentum into this Real Lucky vision and the Against All Odds challenge. As we probably had about an hour to go. It'd been quiet for a bit, and then we saw a few birds. We didn't have the best bait. We had herring, we didn't have mackerel, a couple of dolphins, and we thought, oh, let's just give it a go. And we chucked in a heron, and then bang. Went on an almighty run, like, nearly spooled us. You know, there must be a reason I'm a big game angler. I like to catch big fish for the challenge. I'm just fascinated by big fish in the sea, always have been. Pound for pound, the giant bluefin tuna is up there with the hardest, toughest fighting fish that's out there. When you're chair fishing, like, especially with these big bluefin, the key is to let the reel and the rod do the hard work, not you. So people who aren't experienced with doing it will tend to try and they'll blow out their arms, or they'll just blow themselves out by trying to work the fish when you don't actually have to do. You know, like with bluefin tuna, they are quite, not all of them, but on the whole, they're reasonably predictable. They'll go on their big runs. And then when you get your moment to take your line, you've got to work it hard. If you let a fish like that rest, it will re-energise itself, and then it turns from a 1 or a 2 hour fight, sometimes to really long fights, which is not good for you or the fish. big game fishing is, especially with the biggies, you got to be patient.
We've got a little feeling it's behaving itself. Just about getting it up now. Stay focused. Hopefully. Behave, my girl. I'm pretty good. Just nice being to a fish. Towards the end of leg 2 in Gomera. Soon get out.
Mate, just over the moon, we've actually finally got one on the board, 700 pound, which means we've got a bronze medal, right? So we are medalling. Leg 2 isn't a disaster because we've got one on the board. Happy days. It was an amazing end to what was a difficult couple of trips in La Gomera, but to walk away with a bluefin and a bronze medal as well, that's really kicked everything into gear for the rest of the Against All Odds challenge.
Never thought it was going to happen.
You know, having moved to Portugal and getting a bit more of my time back, my sort of middle life, if you like, sort of 20 to 40, early 40s, 100-hour weeks in the city, building businesses, chasing success, chasing money. I like being an entrepreneur. I enjoy creating businesses and making them successful from scratch, but it's taken its toll. And having that time, being in Portugal, hiring a CEO, being able to go and booking the kind of trips I want to do, the fishing that I've always wanted to do, and having a bit of my time back, you know, it's how I want to live my life now for the next, you know, hopefully 40, 50 years plus. Going on adventures, fishing in different locations, going back to fish for the species I like to catch. The real Lucky vision isn't just about creating a fishing show, that will be the platform, but it is going to be building a network and community of business associates, entrepreneurs, the younger generation coming through. So making memories, laughter, you know, meals out, adventure, challenges, living life to the full. As now in my mid-40s, you know, it's time to start doing that. I never wanted to be someone that got to 60 and then retired and then started doing it. You know, I wanted to do it in my prime. And that's what I'm doing now. Thanks, James. Thank you for brokering it, rescuing it, giving up your invites to this brilliant man. Fellow's got an amazing boat. The El Monte sports fishing team, obviously been super successful in tournaments. We got invited onto their boat for 2 days and we've had so much fun, haven't we? From me, thank you so much. It's been brilliant.
Welcome, man. Very welcome.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Lovely
Thank
fishing
you.
with you.
It's been lovely. Really enjoyed it.
That fish took me to places I've never been to before.